What's up, everybody? This is your boy Cali P. Today's video, we're going to be bringing you updates on the current project. So after the intro, we're going to jump right into it. So this is how we looking so far. Still a little bit of alignment to do right here. I haven't fully dropped the frame yet, but you can see right there, that's where I'm trying to sit in. Got them 4 inches extension, so that should sit in there nice. So I'll come back when the car is fully sitting on the frame. Right now I do have a brace in the back because the rear frame rails are cut, so they don't fully support it back here right now until I weld in the splice, but I'm trying to get this angle to tilt down, so I had to lower the back almost to the true resting point. Then I went to lower the front so then I can get it level and then have this come down at a level angle to adjust the angle. And so almost there. All right, so real quick, I made a vertical cut right here. I need this to tilt down to match the angle of the original frame. So I made a vertical cut over here, vertical cut over there. I'm gonna I'm gonna let the weight of the of the vehicle doing a natural adjustment to this, and then I'll tack in just some metal here, and then I'll come around. I'll probably cut this in half so it'll be a thinner strip, and then I'll just tack it on each side so it'll be stuck in. But this is the frame fit after the stretch. So this is what we're looking like adjustment wise. I'm lowering the back first so I could deal with that angle adjustment, and then I'm gonna come back and do the front. I'll come back and lower the front so that I can see how that's lining up. All right, so I forgot to put that cut on my checklist, and as a consequence, I got all the way to fitting the frame after the stretch on under the car. And I was wondering why the car kept sliding forward every time I would lower it in the front. And that right there is the reason. I gotta make a cut there on each side. And so now I'm gonna try to figure out how to do it without, well, worst case scenario, I just gotta raise it up, keep the frame under there and cut it while the frame is in position and I'm under the car. I mean, I was gonna have to be under the car anyway, but I'll have to figure out how to, as long as the cutting wheel can get in there and I'll be able to cut it without the frame being in the way. Once I raise it up, I'm fine. But I won't be able to properly sit the frame on there until I make that cut. So everything else is lining up good. There was only the only thing I couldn't figure out was why the body was sliding forward once I got it sitting down, but that's the reason. I probably can, yeah, I'm not gonna do it any way that's unsafe, so I gotta jack it up, get the 4x4s back under the car and all that, and then, yeah, I'll be able to make that cut. Then I'll be able to sit this down. Now, of course, up to that line at the top, I'll probably cut above that line and on the outside of this line, if I remember correctly, so that I can get the proper space there on both sides. And then there is a mount that'll go, a bushing, not bushing, the little rubber thing that go on top of the frame, you know what I'm talking about. I have to think about that height-wise, so if I go above that line, I should be good. So I'm gonna go above that line and on the outside of this line with the cuts, and yeah, mounting wise I'll be good as far as the body is concerned. So yeah, so we almost there. Just gotta make that little adjustment, and yeah, everything was lining up just now in the front, and I tried to lower it do the front first, and then I came to the back and I was like, why is the back not going down? And then I said, you know what, I haven't looked under the car yet. Let me look under the middle. I looked under the back of the car. I said, let me look under the middle of the car and see if there's anything obstructing. I thought it might have been something like this, or the old fuel lines that are still on the car. But since that wasn't the case, it was that cut right there. So, all right, so this is where we at. The car is fully sitting on the frame. Right here, there's a little gap. At this point, I still have the ability to move the frame, or move the frame forward or back a little bit. So I need to move it back towards the car to close this gap right here. And it's only maybe 1/4 of an inch. So I need to do that. I'm going to, same here, I'm going to do that, make the adjustment on that. So I gotta lift it back up and get that squared away so it can be sitting properly. The mounting points so far are looking pretty close. They're not spot on. Of course, this is 40 years difference or so, I guess, in 40 plus year difference in application. This frame is from a 2002. This is a 65. So you could do the math on that. But here's where I'm at in this back right here. I'm gonna move this up. That 1/4 inch, that's gonna close a little bit of that right there. And then right here, what I'm gonna do is, now that I have the true height, I have close to the true height. So I'm gonna jack it up, move it up that 1/4, move the frame back the 1/4 of an inch. Then I'll take my jack this passenger side arm up, and then tack that in place. I got to do that on the other side. And before I do all that, I'm going to straighten out the garage a little bit, do some cleanup stuff, and then I'll be able to bring a full visual on how it looks from the side. I'm gonna do a little bit of fitment with the fenders, as well as the radiator support. So that's coming next. All right, so this is how it's looking. The rear is lower because it's just some spare tires on there. I gotta get some regular size tires to match the front. But as far as the wheelbase, you can get an idea, even though those wheels will be a little bit bigger in the back. But as far as center to center, it's right on. 4 inches is the stretch. And this is where we're at. It's sitting on there nice. There's still a few modifications that need to be made so it'll sit perfectly. This mounting position right there, I'm gonna need to open that up and make an adjustment there on the passenger side, on the driver's side as well. It's still not 100% square on the frame. I gotta scoot it over towards the driver's side about 1/8 of an inch or a half, 1/8 of an inch for the most part. And everything is looking pretty good. Still some stuff that needs to be done. Here, I need to adjust that, so I haven't done it yet. And plenty of modifications that are going to need to be done with the radiator support. It's a 6-inch cut to the original frame arms in the front that I'll need to make, weld those in position on the opposite side, like I showed in some of the other pictures or videos. And other than that, I need to get measurements for the motor, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. This was a 390 car, so I should be able to fit what I'm trying to go with, which is a 351 Windsor with the transmission. That should work. Yeah, see right there. Excuse the sniffles, but I got a late allergy reaction anyway. So this is where we at. Again, the rear is sitting lower because of the tires. These are spare tires and these are regular size tires. So once I get that solved, find some 2 tires, then you can get a better idea of the ride height. Right now, it's giving that low rider vibe, but it is sitting lower, of course. But then I'm gonna put some 20s, 22s maybe. Now, I ain't going bigger than 22s. I'm not really a big wheel fan like that. And I don't want to have to do any modifications, tubs or nothing like that. I'm not really a big wheel fan. I mean, I like them on cars, just not cars that I have. I can appreciate them on cars. So, yeah, you can see. We right on. I like how that came out. Here. And there's still about a 1/16 of an inch of wiggle room that I have here, because the rear is not sitting all the way down. The shocks, the bolt for the shock is hitting against the back of the car, so I gotta cut the back open. It's gonna drill a hole somewhere around in here. I just gotta find a location, mark it, and then drill the hole, measure it out, and all that. So There's a few modifications that need to be done. And then once I get that finished, then it's all the body panel stuff that needs to be done. But as far as for this, the stretch, you can even see here how this is lining up with the fender. It's not in front of the fender. And I still have some fitment with the wheel well in the front. So that's another little modification that will probably need to, not probably, it's going to need to take place. So yeah. You can see here, the gap right there. So I think that's going to stay pretty consistent. Like I said, I probably got like a 16th or 1/8 of an inch wiggle room to close that. But once I get everything finalized, I think that's going to close out. I mean, I still have, this is just a preliminary fit, but for the most part, this is where it's going to sit on this frame. So I might do something cosmetic to close that out. But other than that, you know, that's where we are. I might probably put a little bend some steel and weld something in to close that gap under there. And then, of course, make sure everything mounts up